Oh, and then I'll go up here and all these speaker. Very good. Okay. Uh, Welcome. My name is Lorraine, and I'm with the Wellness Gathering, and we're doing a health series, a health by choice and not by chance, and take ownership with our well-being series. I wish to thank Dr. Gary Linder for the health by choice and not by chance quotation, which I'm using, and I know a lot of people are using that. And to Lynn Hilderman, the owner of Botania Body Works in Calgary, for the ownership acronym. So last week we did on the first letter of that ownership, oxygen, and to thank Lynn for doing an excellent presentation, and which I posted on my Wellness on Wheels website blog called "The Power of Breath," and it was an excellent exercise. But today I'm very pleased to have, we're doing the second letter, W, and we have Dr. Gary Linder from California to do the presentation. Gary is a president and founder of the Self-Care Awakening. He received his doctorate in the sociology at the Clemens University. Since 1998 rather, Gary is dedicated in helping people become aware and to make choices for their healthier lifestyle. We do not make any medical claims, but we just here to give you information and perhaps intrigue you. So today's topic on water, I'll leave it up to you, Gary, to do your presentation.
Okay, well, thank you, Lorraine. So let me clarify. My doctorate degree is in physiology, and
Physiology. I guess I missed it.
and that's basically the study of how the body works. And it's from Clemson University in South Carolina. So and then I taught at UC Davis, and I currently have an adjunct faculty position at Chico State as well. So water is let me say it's a natural subject for me. And the reason being is my father spent most of his life in the water quality business. And he always made sure that we had the best technology in our homes as far as filtration or anything else. And we have a little presentation. I put a little presentation together, Lorraine, for your group, just called Water Matters. And it's short, it's just a few slides, and yeah, maybe 8 slides. And I'll share my screen here and we'll just go through it. And as you can see, it's a short version of a larger presentation that I kind of cut down. And it's called Water Matters. And here's the issue. Most of us live our lives in a state of chronic dehydration. And in other words, we just don't drink enough water. We make other choices. You know, I recently did a presentation for the UK. And as I was researching, I found out that about 80% of people living in Britain are dehydrated, chronically dehydrated daily. And another astonishing fact to me was that 20% of their population drink no water at all daily. I mean, you know, I guess a lot of tea, maybe some pints, I don't know, but they're drinking everything, a lot of people, but a lot of stuff but water. And this can be a huge problem. It's, you know, dehydration can lead to many different types of chronic diseases, and I've listed some here on the right side of this slide. But, you know, we need at least 10 cups a day, minimum 10 cups a day, just to replenish what we lose through normal physiological functions, like 2 cups a day just through breathing, 5 to 6 cups a day through excretion, and 2 cups a day to keep ourselves cool through perspiration. And failure to drink enough water, like I said, can lead to everything from type 2 diabetes to fatigue, joint pain, weight gain, headaches, ulcers, high blood pressure, kidney diseases. And here's the other thing, is that this has actually been called, dehydration has been called a pandemic. And here's a quote from Gina Bria, a cultural anthropologist, that says, dehydration is the mother of all epidemics and the first step we need to take in addressing chronic disease. Here's a phrase that I came up with when my kids were small, is that water is not just a beverage choice, children. It's an essential nutrient. And my kids were kind of smart Alex, so we'd be at a restaurant and they'd ask what they'd want to drink. And they'd say, we want a glass of our essential nutrient. I mean, so they just kind of throw that in my face, whatever. But they learned that they needed to drink enough water. And so how much water do we need to drink daily? It's recommended we drink half our body weight in ounces per day. So if we weigh 150 pounds, that'd be 75 ounces per day. And that's a good hydration level. Of course, you may need more depending on your physiology, how much you're exercising, ambient temperature as well, but at least half your body weight in ounces per day. So is water just water? And we're going to get into some principles of water here. And like I said, my dad spent his whole life in the water quality business. And I pretty much grew up knowing that water isn't just water. So some common water choices for people, and I've listed a few of them here, are tap water, filtered water, reverse osmosis water, and bottled water. And tap water it's a good choice because it's regulated. It's treated. Municipalities treat water with chlorine or chloramine or some other type of halogen to kill pathogens. The problem is when that halogen or that chlorine reacts with organic material in that wastewater or that treatment water, it produces some very, very toxic substances, volatile organic compounds just being one of those. We can filter these out, but usually common filtration, leaves the water very acidic. It leaches the minerals out, and just plain filtered water, let's say reverse osmosis is a good example, strips everything out of water, all the harmful things, but all the good things too. So again, it takes out the minerals, and it's not very bioavailable. And what I mean by that is we don't absorb it very well, nor does it enter our cells very readily as well because of the lack of minerals. Now, many people choose bottled water, and many times I ask them, why? Why, if I'm at a networking event or a social event and people are drinking bottled water, I ask them, why do you choose bottled water? And they give me 3 reasons. 1, tastes better. 2, they think it's healthier. And 3, they say it's convenient. And it is convenient. I will say that because you can pick up a bottle of water just about, anytime you're getting fuel for your vehicle or just about anywhere you are. But does it actually taste better? And I would challenge anybody on the call today, the class today, or listening to the recording, Google taste tests of bottled water versus municipal water. Just search for that, and you're going to see some very interesting blind taste tests where many people are choosing tap water over bottled water as far as taste goes. Is it healthier? Another great thing to Google. It is not. That plastic bottle leaches chemicals into the water, antimonies, plastic particles, microplastics, everything else. And again, another good area of research for yourself to take a look at. And in my opinion, it's not healthier. It's not a healthy choice. And again, I can't argue with convenience because it is convenient. But my response to that many times with somebody when we're having this conversation is, don't we often trade convenience at the expense of our health? And we do. We really do. And it's not convenient for our planet either. It's 100 million plastic bottles are used each day globally. 100 million. All right. And that takes its toll on our environment, not only physically, but also in the use of the resources to produce those plastic bottles and to produce the filtered water that they put in. If it is filtered, sometimes bottled water is filtered, sometimes it's not. And usually mostly by reverse osmosis is the way they use it, which is very wasteful. It takes 3 gallons of water to produce 1 gallon of drinking water through reverse osmosis filtration. 1,500 bottles. Everybody say one Mississippi, and 1,500 bottles just ended up in our landfills or our ocean. And there's a choice here. There's something we can do about this to not only be healthy by choice ourselves, but to help make a healthier planet as well. So with these choices, I do not consider these to be the healthiest choices for our water, for our daily water consumption. I think we would all, knowing the fact that we need to drink half our body weight in ounces per day, we would want the healthiest water possible the way nature intended. We want it pure, free of contaminants. We want minerals in it. We want those minerals produce a slightly alkaline pH in that water. And we want some structure to the water, which makes it more bioavailable to us. And these are all the principles of the way water exists in nature. Now, my father, Mort Lindner, spent his whole entire life in the water quality business. And I introduced him to a filtration system I'm going to talk about in a minute. But what he said is what we have always wanted is a system to take out all the harmful things, but then put back in what nature intended. And that's what we've always strived for. But up to that point in his profession, they hadn't found it, when I was younger. So what's the best way to do this? What can we do? We can get a water filtration system for our home. But what do we want to look for in that filtration system? We want advanced filtration to remove all the harmful things I mentioned. These want to be verified by third-party organizations to meet or exceed these standards of ANSI or NSF of standards 42, 53, and 372. We want special ceramics to add minerals back to the water. This creates a slightly alkaline water. We also want that water to be structured, microclustered, so it's easy to absorb. We want something that's easy to use and maintain, and something very cost effective. And this is the system I introduced to my father, the Nikken Pi-Mag waterfall. It filters to those standards that I mentioned. It takes no plumbing, no electricity. It's simple, it's easy to use, excellent filtration, alkalizes the water by adding minerals back, and minerals in the trace minerals that basically mimic the similar trace minerals we have in our blood, in our plasma. The water tastes great. It's very smooth. It's very hydrating. And I like to say it's great for our environment, for our bodies, and for our wallets. And it's made with recyclable plastics or polymers that do not leach anything into the water. So it's very cost effective. To replace bottled water, it basically will pay for itself in 3 months. So it is very cost effective, very simple, very easy to use, and it really creates water the way nature intended. It's like imagine if we could create spring water in our home or office, and that's what the Nikken Pi-Mag waterfall does. And as I said, when I introduced my father, who spent his entire career in this industry, he said, Gary, looked right at me and said, Gary, this is what we always wanted. Something to take out all the bad, but put the good things that nature intended to be in water. So the best way to do this is to filter your water at home. Look for a filtration system that meets the standards that I mentioned, again, and look for something also that's going to be healthy for our planet as well, made with recyclable and biodegradable materials, and something that's not going to leach, chemicals or byproducts into your drinking water. So for more information, you can visit selfcarehub.com, and we have a number of videos you can take a look at. There's quite a few of them on water. Just search under the category Water Matters. And we also have a YouTube channel, the Self-Care Awakening YouTube channel, but most of these presentations are listed at the selfcarehub.com. So with that, I'm going to stop share. We can have a nice little discussion on water if you like. And
okay, well, thank you very much, Dr. Linder. That's very, very informative. And I know I started to drink the required water for my size of body, and it takes, you have to really plan it and concentrate on that. So
Initially you do, but it actually becomes a habit. You know,
yeah.
when I mention to people you drink half your body weight now, they go, oh my gosh, I could never drink that much water. And many times their responses are, water makes me feel really sloshy, very full. With the water I'm talking about, you will never feel that way. I mean, in 20 some years, I haven't had anybody say, wow, I drank some water and I feel really full or sloshy, because it's so absorbable. The other thing is that your thirst response, it just is as little as a 0.2% gradation in hydration can trigger your thirst response. Many times people confuse that with a hunger response. So they eat, which is why dehydration will cause weight gain, type 2 diabetes, other things. The headaches, over 90% of headaches are caused by dehydration. Joint problems, about the same category or percentage there. Many people, when they start to hydrate well, will respond, and maybe Lorraine, you notice too. You just feel better. You have more energy. Your joints don't creak, and your head doesn't hurt, and your digestion's better. Your elimination's better. It's we're up to certain, depending on our brains are 83% water, our bones are 25 to 30%, and our entire body is about 60 to 70% water. If you look at the molecular percentage of water in our body, of looking at molecules, we're 99% water as far as molecules. So very important, extremely important. And it's, if you kind of just start to make a habit of having water with you throughout the day, you will create that habit of just sipping on it. You'll just naturally kind of do that, and it may take some time. So
yes, it certainly has. Does anybody else have any questions for Dr. Linder?
Oh, I don't have a question, but I mean, I had the experience. I mean, I really like the water system. We were just away on a ski trip over the last 4 days, and I just picked up my water system and I took it with me.
yeah.
And like, really, when we're traveling, like, it wasn't much to just throw it into the car at the last minute. It traveled really easily, and we didn't have, because I mean, yes, I could have probably drank the tap water that was there, but we would have been likely looking for good water to drink on holidays, which is usually a bottled source, and we didn't have to do that.
Yeah.
So I mean,
nice.
Kind of kudos to the to the portability of it.
And it takes no plumbing. I mean, all you need
That's
is
right. No plumbing, and then whatever. Yeah.
All you need is a water source. So, yeah.
I noticed that last summer when there was a fire, we were evacuated from our home. That was the first thing I took was the water system and my nutrients. And then I thought, well, maybe I better take a nightgown and a toothbrush. But the water system was certainly the first thing I took. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I highly recommend it. It's just like my dad says, it does what they've always wanted. The water quality business has always wanted to do. I don't think there's another system like it, especially within its price range and its effectiveness. So.
Any
I
other
like what
questions?
I like what you said about it becomes a habit.
Yeah.
And recognizing when you hear, well, I have adult kids, but when you hear the kids go, oh, I must be thirsty, I have a headache coming on, I must be thirsty, it makes me feel good that they understand the correlation between what your body is doing and what it might need, right? Yeah. So
well, as opposed to an aspirin or a Tylenol or
sure.
anything else.
Mm-hmm.
So so far we've talked about breathing. Drink some water, take some good breaths, Lynn, right? Mm-hmm. Like we did last week. You'll feel much better.
Well, thank you very much, Dr. Linder. This has been really good, a good presentation. And we'll see, be doing another one. Our next one will be on Anand, so we have to come up with a speaker, and see you next week. And I hope everybody enjoyed this one. So I'm just going to
It'll be on nutrition.
Yes.
on nutrition.
Thank you. I just got to add that.